The War of 1812. June 1815. The last battle of the War of 1812. Peacock versus Nautilus. On June the 30th, 1815, the sloop of war, USS Peacock, 22 guns, arrived at the Straits of Sunda, between the Indian Ocean and the Java Sea, where she encountered the East India Company bark Nautilus, 14 guns, under Lieutenant Charles Boyle. Boyle sent his ship's master and another crew member in a boat over to Peacock, only to see them, via spyglass, grabbed aboard and hustled below decks. Didn't the Yanks know the war was over? Around the same time, a second boat bearing Mr. MacGregor, the master of the port of Angier, came aside Peacock, and he too was taken prisoner. If anyone had told Captain Lewis Warrington of the Peacock that the war was over, he either didn't believe them or didn't care. The Nautilus then came within hailing distance of Peacock, and Lieutenant Boyle hailed that the war was over. Warrington's response: "Strike your colors and surrender your ship." Yeah, right. And the fight was on. In the action that follows, the British suffer 6 dead and 8 injured, including Lieutenant Boyle, who loses a leg to a 32-pound shot. The Americans will have only 4 or 5 hurt. So, just what the actual hell was this all about? I think I shall leave the last word to historian D.R. Westhouse, whose unpublished The War of 1812, a chronology of the military actions, 1812 to 1815, greatly helped in facilitating the month-to-month videos on this channel. Thanks, David. Westhouse writes, quote, "The day after the 15-minute battle, officials from Angier provided proof that peace had been signed and that the treaty had also been ratified. The last battle of the war was fought on the high seas 188 days after the signing of the peace treaty and 132 days after it was ratified. That made the battle in contradiction of the treaty, which stated in Article 2 that all hostilities should cease in all other parts of the world after 120 days, which meant that the battle occurred 12 days after the specified limit. Captain Lewis Warrington returned home on October 30th, and despite the controversial nature of his encounter with Nautilus, continued to serve and had a long service with the United States Navy." End of quote. In fact, Warrington continued to serve until his death in 1851, and briefly held the post of U.S. Secretary of the Navy in 1844. Note: writing in the Proceedings of the U.S. Naval Institute, Lieutenant Commander Thomas J. Cutler, U.S. Navy retired, writes that Warrington noticed that Nautilus was heading towards a nearby British fort, whose guns could provide her extra protection. Unsure if the war was truly over, Warrington, as a compromise, demanded the East India ship surrender, and when she refused, Powie! And that's it. The last military action related to the War of 1812. Amazingly enough, since 2022, we have managed to document the 3 years of the War of 1812, month by month. Now that la guerre est finie, I'm going to concentrate on reviewing books about the war and exploring related topics. So if you have any ideas of subjects you would like me to cover, please tell me about it in the comments and stay tuned. If this is your first visit to 1812 channel, my name is Warren and I'm your host. I'm not a historian, nor am I an expert on the War of 1812. Instead, I'm a student wishing to learn about the conflict. And while the war may be over, there's still a lot of learning to do. I hope you enjoyed the War of 1812. But the peace will be even better. Cheers.